Alright folks, now you guys obviously know this vehicle. I know this vehicle, but we have been beating this dead horse for a while now. So luckily along the way, there are a few buffs that dramatically helps out this thing from becoming super bland and stale. So let's do a quick recap on the Vickers Main Battle Tank Mk.3 for assembly shop for the actual price of the same as a OF40 prototype or 𝗠𝗸𝗀𝗀𝗲𝗺𝗯𝗹𝘆 MBT prototype. So funny enough, this export tank costs more than an overly engineered Russian Object 780 because game thing or balance, whatever. So prime time, luckily there are no delays for micro patch compared to the Object 452 with the mantlet armor, but hopefully that works out. But 3D styles for those who come first, it is not that bad looking, but kind of Russian-y, right? With the plate armor, the fuel drums, that looks like an APS of some sort. Camera system with the fuses. Yeah, that's an APS, but we don't have rockets, so whatever. Drums in the back, desert kit in a sense. It has a machine gun, the FAL, but rangefinders, laser rangefinders, yada yada. Yeah, that looks like Russian almost, with the little plate armor thing. I mean, it's not a bad skin, but they're not going to do that much to an actual Vickers Main Battle Tank Mk.3. It's just export tank. Just use it, right? Use it for the gun. It's a gun platform, not actually a armor tank platform like a Chieftain or Centurion for that matter. But the camo does change with the weather condition. So desert maps, winter maps, yada yada, snow maps. So like with all the assembly shop tanks, but you have to come first. And this is not that interesting of a vehicle compared to the overly engineered 452 or 780 or 𝗠𝗸𝗀𝗀𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁 this, but I would love to see the recently announced Tier 11 Chinese heavy tank on the Russian server becoming Tier 10. That thing was the BZT-70. Kind of looks like a Doom Turtle tracks with a turret, but that would be an interesting vehicle for the same price as an export tank. Alright, we have been beating this thing to enough of a dead horse. So the skin obviously is not that bad, but they have been buffing it. So luckily it's not as bland as prior iterations, but yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, fine. It's a British Leopard 1 without the actual top speed, but it's nimble on its feet, so that's a plus. So here is the main difference. So originally back in patch 1.24 on the super test, so DPM was lower, worse accuracy, slower shell velocity, but luckily they buff it all with horsepower per ton ratio. So the horsepower per ton ratio is pretty big, as well as the top speed, but slightly nerfing the terrain resistance to counteract the effective traverse practically. But yeah, they do need this buff. Otherwise, this vehicle was super bland, super stale. Compared to a Centurion Action X, you can just play with the Centurion Action X, right? You don't even need this vehicle. The same gun performance. Actually better gun performance in some cases, but just have armor. So Centurion Action X, it has been buffed quite dramatically. So they buffed the dispersion on this vehicle pretty significant. And now it's a lot better than the patent. A lot better than the patent. So yeah, this was a very good medium tank that's also capable of sniping rather than just being only sniping. It can also be a somewhat middle range to front range, close range fighting with the armor. It could bounce sometimes with the slopeness, but doesn't do that well against gold shells. So this is a very good vehicle. Originally, the Vickers main battle tank, kind of a weaker version of the gun for the same cost as an OF40, so it doesn't feel good. But nowadays, the gun performance is the same. Dispersion wise, with the Centurion Action X, it has better accuracy. so that's a plus, but it doesn't have the armor, so that's the downside. So you're basically trading a few, but if you don't have the money, what I'm trying to say is play the Centurion Action X. You're not missing out that much. You're not really. Not even close. So you already saw, yeah, the buff is pretty significant, mostly for the horsepower per ton ratio, but in comparison to a Centurion Action X, you're not getting that much difference. So yeah, not that much difference. Better aim time, slightly better accuracy, slightly faster show velocity, and reverse speed, horsepower per ton ratio, but less health and dramatically worse armor. Camo is not that much better, but still a little bit better, right? So yeah, 12% is more like a combat medium tank. So yeah, less chance of catching on fire, so that's a plus, but you shouldn't be shot at, so always hiding. Also, gun depression is weird. There's no gun depression on the engine deck. It's actually +1 for the back, so be aware of that. But originally for the super test, you already saw stats were not that great, so yeah, we already been through this vehicle a lot. So original super test stats, yep, top speed, horsepower per ton ratio, not that great. The gun doesn't reload that quick, yada yada, doesn't have the armor, yada yada, you already know. So okay. This dead horse. Alright, finally after about 6 months, so we should be expecting another tier 10 for next year's January assembly shop, like around the corner, right? So hopefully it's the BZT-70, the Doom Turtle-esque of a Chinese heavy tank, but you know, we'll have to see. We're getting close. It's almost about the time. So overall, yeah, the vehicle is still whatever. It's still a little bit better than the original stats. Originally, I rated it at 5 out of 10, which is not that great. So it's a British Leopard 1, but worse penetration, alpha, aim time, accuracy. Yeah, they definitely buff the horsepower per ton and the accuracy and the reverse speed and top speed. But yeah, only 50 kilometers per hour top speed, no armor, no gimmick, assembly shop candidate. Funny enough, that went to the object 452K, not the BZ72. We did not expect the caravan or auction coming back for the BZ72-1, but yeah, like I said originally, can we get it at a cheaper cost for export tank? No, it's the same cost as an OF40 Proto. So right now the rating should be about 6 out of 10. The Centurion is a very good vehicle, right? In open field maps, this thing doesn't perform as good as a Centurion, but in a city map where you need the nimbleness of turning corners and other stuff, this vehicle might be a little bit better than a Leopard 1, right? It's a little bit faster to traverse. It's a little bit more nimble in the horsepower per ton ratio without the turbocharger. But yeah, this vehicle is 6 out of 10 for now. It's okay, but Centurion Action X is like a 6.5, 6.75 out of 10. It's a very good vehicle, other than some of the armor aspects, but still, it's very good. It could do sniping, it could do some of the assaultish type of deal, doesn't have the lack of DPM, it's accurate, it's quick to aim, very good dispersion, about 6.5, 6.75. So for this vehicle, 6 feels good, maybe 5.75 for the blandness, but equipment wise, rammer, optics, and turbocharger, definitely the basic kit. So you need everything helping out for finding better sniping position. Turbocharger will help. Optics definitely help out with the 410 meters of view range. Definitely the rammer for more DPM. You don't need the vertical stabilizer or improved aiming. That is super overkill. You don't need it. You already have very good accuracy. So yeah, the basics. But if you want to put experimental equipments, I would recommend maybe mobility improvement system thing. This thing helps out with the dispersion as well, making it even more deadly while giving it the horsepower per ton ratio and the top speed. So I would say, yeah, better experimental mobility thing for this tier 3, not the tier 1. Yeah, the tier 3. So yeah, bond equipment, you gotta also put rammer and optics. You don't need anything else. You don't need vents. You don't need enhanced gun lane drive or vertical stabilizer. I will say optics. You could somewhat scout if you need for your team or for yourself. So I would still say about the same loadout as this. So it's not as difficult of a choice compared to something of a Lion. The Lion is not that great in dispersion department. So that's why I have vertical stabilizer as well as the experimental mobility turbocharger thing and the vents. So this thing is not accurate while moving and shooting. So that's why I kicked this thing out. But yeah, the standard fare, standard. So for field mods, the same as a Leopard 1. First one is better traverse or less penalty to damage ammo rack or engine, right? Engine. So the Leopard 1 will use a little bit better traverse for the turret. So traverse for the turret is somewhat workable, somewhat okay, but I would prefer above 45 or 50. For this vehicle, it's already pretty quick. It's already like 50 plus. So I would say, yeah, gun traverse. What the hell? Oh, turret traverse and gun traverse. Gun traverse is going up and down. Turret traverse is the actual turret. But yeah, 50 is already very quick. Very quick. You just have less penalty. I would say less penalty for damage, ammo rack, and gun. Second one is dispersion while moving or aim circle size. You already have very good aim circle size. You don't even need any more. So I would say dispersion while moving, even though both are very good. This one's up to you. Second one is for sniping and camping. First one is shooting and moving. So this one's up to you. Better camo or reverse speed. Camo. You already have 45 without the turbocharger. It goes even faster without with the actual turbocharger thing. So yeah, you don't need. Let's just do this right here. Configure field mods. Yeah, I would say this one. With the field mod, going backwards is 27 without the turbocharger. I would say better camo. Yeah, 13% camo is not that great. Ugh, it goes down to 11 or 10.85. Yeah, the camo is crap. Yeah, 13.85. I would say better camo. You definitely will want better camo for sniper tanks. They're better camo. DPM or aim circle size. Now, the DPM change is not that much. It's only about 100, but the accuracy is kind of significant. 0.02 is somewhat of a big deal. I would say 0.25 accuracy for just 100 DPM. I would say better accuracy. And finally, engine power or aim time. Engine power. You already have a very good aim time. Aim time goes down to 1.8, but with the engine power buff, it's 2 seconds. That's nothing. That's nothing for aim time. But you have 23.72 horsepower per ton ratio. So about 1 more horsepower per ton. I would say better engine power. But yeah, overall, this vehicle is like a little bit better than originally. It's still not as universal in performance as a Centurion, in my opinion. Mostly because of the lack of armor. You cannot play well on Himmelsdorf or Ruhenberg for that matter. So the vehicle does perform a little bit better than the original stats. But compared to a Centurion Action X, yeah, still about 5.75 or so. But like I said, it is actually more expensive for this vehicle than a Object 780. The Object 780 was 8,000 free XP for 1%. This thing has the same cost as the rest, 10,000 free XP. So we already covered the inflation from last year, but the gold is the same, so that's a plus. Credit costs more, bonds cost more. Yeah, bonds cost. Yeah, the fragments cost twice as much. Almost twice as much. Holy crap! So, yeah, definitely inflated cost compared to a 780. Also, there were like 20,000. Yeah, 20,000 tanks on the North America server compared to only like 10,000. 10,000. So, yeah, the 780 was more abundant and cheaper than an export tank. Over-engineered Russian tank is more affordable in a sense, but alright, fine. that the inflation happened with the OF40, with the Kampfpanzer 07PE, also with the 452K. Also, there were a glitch with the mantlet armor, yada yada. But yeah, this vehicle feels it's okay. I mean, it's not that special. You are not missing out too much. Buy the Centurion Action X. You'll have pretty much just as much fun, if not better time with the Centurion. So yeah, it's okay. You're not missing out much. But funny enough, on the Russian server, they move it to tier 8. It's a tier 8 premium sniper British medium tank. And what's also funny is the standard shell is actually the HESH round. They call it a heat, but it's not a shaped charge. It's a heat. It's not a heat. It's a HESH. Whatever. This is the actual gold shell, but they turn it to a standard shell for the gun, the L7. And the gold shell is actually the standard shell for the L7. They switch it around, like with the tier. Just swap it. But there's no other high explosive. There's no high explosive anti-tank. DPM obviously get a nerf. It's at tier 8 now. Not as good dispersion while moving, definitely. Accuracy, aim time also gets nerfed. Shell velocity, yada yada. Top speed. Slightly better engine power than the super test, but not much. And worse terrain resistance. So yeah, the Russian version is kind of weird. I don't know if I like this thing. Also, remember that the shell is a high explosive squash head, so DPM is actually inflated. It's not that actual DPM or consistent DPM. So technically, if it's using the APCR or Sable round, that is the original DPM of an AP DPM, which is only 1700. So this vehicle feels kind of really bland. Holy crap. I'm not paying actual money for Russian version of the Vickers main battle tank. This thing is so weird. Why are you using HESH as standard shell? Yeah, HESH without the border, without the red border, is standard shell. They call it heat, but ugh. And for the gold shell, it's the actual regular round with the 250 millimeters of pin, but DPM drops to actually 1700. So yeah, I'm not really interested in this vehicle. This vehicle is like a 4. You have the benefits of the HESH, but most of the time, if you're bottom tier, you're getting screwed. You're getting really screwed. So yeah, this vehicle, the Russian version of the Vickers main battle tank, is like a freaking 4 out of 10. It's not fast. Dispersion is not good. It's a sniper, but you're forced to use gold shell for sniping. Yeah, this thing is crap. This thing is like a 4. At max a 4. It's like a 3.5 now when I think about it. God, this thing sucks. Alright folks, well there you go. So good luck to you if you're bidding for this vehicle, but like I said, you're not missing out. Play with the Centurion Action X. You'll have just as much fun. If not, Leopard 1. Just as good of a time. There were rumors of the Leopard 1 nerf. I didn't see it, so I don't think it will come to pass, but who the hell knows? So it's all up for debate, but yeah, you'll have a better time in the Centurion Action X without wasting that much resource. So yeah, this vehicle is collectors only or whales only, so not that big of a deal. It's not as crazy as a Kampfpanzer 07PE. I love mine, but that is a resource sink of a vehicle, so you're not missing out. Definitely not missing out. Well, there you go, folks. The Vickers main battle tank Mk.3. So I want to see the actual next year's tier 10 candidates. So we'll have to wait, but I think it's called, let's see, Tanky BZT-70. Armor Patrol, it's not MBT-70. Yeah, it's this thing. Yeah, it's this thing. BZT-70. Yeah, this thing. Look how wide the tracks are. Look how wide the tracks is. You see that? It's like a Doom turtle. So we'll likely see this thing for next year, hopefully. I don't know. Tier 10 assembly shop, BZT-70. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go, folks. So as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.